A sudden, earth-shaking strike has sent shockwaves across Europe, leaving Russia and Belarus scrambling for answers and NATO raising its alert levels. The kind of move no one saw coming, an unexpected maneuver that challenges the balance of power and pushes global security into uncharted territory. This isn't just another skirmish. It's a red alert moment that could redefine the trajectory of the ongoing conflict. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Ukraine's latest unexpected strike that has not only shocked Russia and Belarus, but has also caught the full attention of NATO forces across Europe. We're going to break down the exterior of this operation, what happened behind closed doors in terms of interior planning, the performance of Ukraine's tactics, the safety features NATO is employing to contain escalation, and the unique selling points of this strike that make it different from any other. Finally, we'll examine the cost, both in terms of price and political consequences, before we bring it all together in a powerful conclusion. The exterior of this event is as dramatic as it gets. Imagine the borderlands, often patrolled and monitored with intense scrutiny, suddenly disrupted by a precision strike that lands deep into the infrastructure, supporting Russian and Belarusian coordination. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was a physical, visible mark of Ukraine's growing reach and capability. From the outside, the strike demonstrates boldness and intent, sending a message not only to Moscow and Minsk, but also to the rest of the world. It shows Ukraine is no longer content with a defensive posture. Instead, it has shifted toward offensive tactics that carry significant weight in the theater of war. The sheer audacity of striking in areas once considered relatively secure has shattered assumptions and forced even hardened military analysts to reevaluate their assessments. Interior planning, though brief and not as visible to the public, is what truly set the stage for this event. Military intelligence, coordination, and tight operational secrecy ensured that this move remained hidden until the very last second. Ukrainian strategists appear to have identified vulnerabilities within Russian and Belarusian lines, exploiting cracks that many believed were impenetrable. The interior side of this strike is also political. Communications between Ukrainian leadership and Western allies suggest that confidence is growing, and with that comes bolder decision-making. The operation was short in planning details, but its execution was sharp, surgical, and remarkably effective, highlighting that Ukraine's leadership has matured in its ability to balance secrecy with decisive action. Performance is where this strike truly stands out. The execution was near flawless, with reports suggesting minimal Ukrainian losses and maximum impact on Russian and Belarusian targets. This was not just about launching weapons, it was about timing, precision, and coordination. Ukraine has demonstrated that its evolving arsenal, often supported by Western supplied technology, can perform under real battlefield conditions. The psychological impact of this performance cannot be understated. Russia, long accustomed to controlling the narrative of strength, suddenly finds itself scrambling to explain vulnerabilities to its own people. Belarus, often seen as a backdoor support for Moscow, is now exposed in ways it hadn't anticipated. NATO, meanwhile, observed the performance closely and recognized both the potential benefits and risks of a more aggressive Ukrainian stance. The performance rating here is high. Ukraine showed capability, adaptability, and resilience all in one strike. Safety features come next, and in a conflict this tense, they are critical. NATO's immediate response was to place forces across Eastern Europe on higher alert, increasing surveillance flights, strengthening air defense positions, and doubling communication between Allied command centers. These safety mechanisms act as a buffer, ensuring that escalation doesn't spiral out of control while still signaling readiness to deter any counterassault. response from Moscow or Minsk. For Ukraine itself, safety features involved careful risk calculations, ensuring the strike didn't target civilian zones, but instead focused on military and logistical assets. This careful targeting shows an awareness of international scrutiny, a way of maintaining legitimacy in the eyes of global audiences. NATO's safety net, combined with Ukraine's strategic precision, acts like the seatbelts and airbags in a high-speed collision, there to minimize damage even when the stakes are life or death. The unique selling points of this strike are undeniable. First, it was unexpected, proving Ukraine's ability to stay unpredictable in a war that has often seen predictable patterns. Second, it showcased the integration of Western intelligence and technology without making Ukraine look like a mere proxy. Third, it forced Russia and Belarus into a reactive position rather than an offensive one, flipping the narrative of control. Finally, it reinforced Ukraine's credibility with allies, showing that support given in the form of weapons, training, and resources is not being wasted. The uniqueness lies in the combination of psychological disruption, strategic boldness, and technological execution. Ukraine's strike wasn't just a battlefield event. It was a statement of capability, resolve, and future intent. Now let's talk about price, because nothing in this conflict comes without cost. Financially, Ukraine continues to pour resources into its military while relying on international aid packages to sustain its operations. Each strike of this caliber requires not only advanced weaponry, but also costly intelligence gathering, logistical support, and post-operation recovery. Politically, the price is even steeper. This strike has undoubtedly raised tensions, and Russia is expected to retaliate in some form. Belarus, too, may feel pressured to increase its involvement. For NATO, the price lies in walking a delicate tightrope, offering support to Ukraine while avoiding direct escalation that could drag the alliance into open war. And for civilians across the region, the price is the lingering fear that the next move may trigger wider conflict. Price, in this sense, is measured not just in dollars and resources, but in risk, stability, and human cost. In conclusion, Ukraine's unexpected strike has reshaped the current landscape of the conflict. Externally, it showed strength and boldness. Internally, it reflected sharp planning and evolving leadership. Performance-wise, it was near perfect, leaving adversaries shaken. Safety features were well in place, with NATO stepping in to prevent escalation. The unique selling points demonstrated why Ukraine's fight continues to capture global attention, while the price reminds us of the enormous stakes at play. This wasn't just another military move. It was a turning point that forced everyone, from Moscow to Brussels to Washington, to take notice. As NATO remains on high alert and Russia scrambles for a counter, one truth has emerged with clarity: Ukraine is no longer the underdog. It is now a force rewriting the rules of engagement in Europe. The story is far from over, and every development will continue to test the resilience of nations, the balance of power, and the endurance of alliances. But one thing is clear: the world has entered a new phase of the conflict, and the echoes of this unexpected strike will be felt for months, if not years, to come.